Salut Arnaud.
Salut Arnaud.
Et Arnaud,
meilleur vœu et également avec qu'un petit Arsenal à Chelsea pour débuter cette année. Arsenal qui doit absolument gagner 0-0 après 1 minute 30 de jeu. Les Gunners qui sont pour l'instant 6e et une victoire. Et bien ils chiffrent à la 5e place à Tottenham et surtout on reviendrait à 3 points de Liverpool 4e et c'est le livre de place pour la Ligue des Champions. En face on a une équipe de Chelsea qui reste sur un très gros succès face à Stoke 5-0 et qui peut en cas de victoire devenir le dauphin de Manchester City en passant devant Manchester United. 3 Français sur la pelouse, un du côté d'Arsenal, c'est Alexandre Lacazette, 2 du côté de Chelsea, Thiemo et Bakayoko et N'Golo Kanté pour l'instant 0-0 après 2 minutes.
Merci Arnaud, on tiendra au courant bien entendu de ce qui se passe dans ce match entre Arsenal et Chelsea à 22h30. Il y a le coup d'envoi du match du derby de Lisbonne entre le Benfica et le Sporting. On tiendra bien entendu au courant également. Et nous on se retrouve dans quelques instants avec les infos du jour. On vous attend autour de cette sur hashtag Arsenal bien sûr.
RMC, le Super Football Show. RMC Rugby, la Challenge Cup et l'European Rugby.
The ball into their own half, begin their passing routine. This then the final match of game week 22, and the last match of game week 21 is tomorrow. So if you're confused about what day of the week it is this time of year, that shouldn't help at all. Third minute here, Arsenal 0, Chelsea 0. And Xhaka, tall figure in the Arsenal midfield, playing it back there to Mustafi. Mustafi takes it again from Chambers, who's playing on the right of the back three, Holdings on the left side. Now here's Ozil for the first time, trying to clip a pass down the line, blocked by Bakayoko, so Arsenal will go back to their goalkeeper, the former Chelsea man and Chelsea hero still, Petr Cech, in that goal to our left-hand side. Looks like Arsenal will dominate possession here then, Jason.
Yeah, like I said, it's very much in terms of what Chelsea do in the Italian side. We mentioned is that they're very happy for you to have the ball and invite the pressure on. Instead, they're ready to pick you up when you make that mistake or force the pass, and then to keep hold of the ball themselves.
Times seem to be changing in Serie A at the moment. There are a few sides who bang the goals in these days, you know.
Yeah.
Napoli have been absolutely crazy. But the point is well made, well taken. Antonio Conte will certainly prioritise solidity as Conte demonstrates there by clattering into Jack Wilshere fairly. Both men stay upright, and Fabregas plays it forward towards Morata, a loose touch by the Spaniard, and it breaks into the centre of midfield where Xhaka does well to secure it for Arsenal. And here's Bellerin, who will go back to Chambers, and Arsenal will start again. But to emphasise that defensive strength for Chelsea, they've conceded just 4 Premier League goals in the last 12 games. In that time, 9 wins, 2 draws and 1 defeat, and they've dropped 5 points further behind Manchester City. Not good enough in the current climate. Forward go Arsenal towards Lacazette, but mopping up there was Christensen, the young man who's broken through big time for Chelsea this season. And it's cleared by the Blues. Fabregas with a nice touch in the midfield there for Bakayoko. Tall, strong, bearded midfield player. He moves it out to Moses over on the far side. If you've got a thought about tonight's action, by the way, or want to let us know where you are listening to us around the world, it would be great to hear from you. At TalkSport Live on Twitter as usual. 5 minutes in, no goals so far. But which of these two London sides will emerge on top tonight?
So what I picked up for the first 5 minutes, the early exchanges, is that Urs was actually playing in a deeper role. He's actually playing in more of a midfield role alongside Xhaka and Wilshere. So he's sort of making a 3 in there and leaving Lacazette and Sanchez as sort of 2 strikers.
Here's Ozil now appearing between the lines and finding Lacazette, who throws himself to the floor quite dramatically under the challenge of Conte. And Anthony Taylor waited and then said, yes, it is a free kick to Arsenal, maybe 25 yards out.
It is, yeah. I mean, it's hard on Kante there to stop his momentum, but as Lacazette just flicks the ball back to the route that Kante's coming, Kante can't stop his run and goes into Lacazette, but he's bought the free kick, Lacazette.
It was suspiciously dramatic before from Lacazette, I have to say, but perhaps there was contact as Conte came scurrying to the rescue, as he often does, but Lacazette had body between opponent and ball, and as a result Sanchez is lining up the free kick here for Arsenal. It's just to the left of centre, but not by much. And maybe it's 26, 27 yards out. Sanchez strikes in a slight deflection. And it wrong-footed Courtois and went past the post.
I mean, Sanchez is trying to go over the wall, and I think it hits the top of Gary Cahill's head. And as Courtois steps into his right-hand side, the ball goes to his left, and there's a little hesitation there for Courtois. He's thinking that deflection's done enough, probably beat him.
Well, Arsenal came very close to breaking through there. They've got a corner now, it's hit deep. And Holding was in there, but Cahill away for Chelsea. Back in by Wilshere, another strong header by Gary Cahill. And away by Chelsea to the halfway line, where Xhaka will collect. And Arsenal will get things going again. Arsenal 8 wins in 10 at home so far, 25 points out of 30. Only Manchester City's home record is better, and they've scored 25 goals in those games. Goals at both ends in all of their Christmas fixtures. The 3-3 draw with Liverpool at the Emirates, you'll recall, then a 3-2 win at Crystal Palace and the 1-1 away at West Brom when Arsene Wenger was incensed by a late penalty award against them. Conte forward towards Morata, he goes down under the challenge of Mustafi. You might have just heard the scream of the Spaniard on the effects microphone. Morata's got his free kick for that, midway inside the Arsenal half.
It's very similar to what Lacazette just had on the touchline there. Christensen really tight up against him, not letting him turn, and just there Mustafi's exactly the same on Morata.
This is Hazard from the free kick from Fabregas. Fabregas gets it back and plays it back to Azpilicueta. A little bit of pressure on Christensen from Lacazette, but he gets to Fabregas. Ball over the top by Fabregas, but Hazard checked his run, and it's through to Petr Cech in the Arsenal goal, and it remains 0-0 here on Premier League Live, right around the world, for the first big London derby of the new year. Conte winning the ball for Chelsea here in the midfield, inside his own half, forward to Hazard in the centre circle. Hazard, who's not scored for getting on for a month now. The goals in the Newcastle game early in December were his last. Hazard's kept possession neatly for Chelsea. Cahill's joining in here from the left of the centre. Wilshere running across the track. It's wide now to Alonso. He moves back towards the centre. Fabregas held up by the walls of red and white. And now Conte will go back to the halfway line. Neither team's been especially brave so far, but now it's forward to Hazard, spinning on the corner of the penalty box. Morata now dribbling into it. Alonso with the cross in, away by Chambers. Owen and Alonso battling for a high ball. Fabregas keeps it on the near side, flips it infield to Morata, he's 30 yards out, going across the field, left to right. And then decides to go back to Christensen. Chelsea will build again. No goals yet, no chances for Chelsea. The free kick from Arsenal deflected wide by the Chelsea wall after Sanchez has hit it at their best moment. Here's Bellerin for Arsenal as they try and launch a counter-attack down the left-hand side. Ozil has got Sanchez on that side of the field. Sanchez left corner of the box, lifts it across. Just beyond Ozil and out for a goal kick, but for a second it looked as if it would be perfect.
It's a good counter-attack, starting from Bellerin, good pound on his right-hand side, plays into Wilshere, plays a great ball, he breaks the lines of the Chelsea units, plays out wide to Sanchez on the left, cuts on his right, and that's you just want Lacazette just trying to get in the box more, because you see he's going to cut on his right foot and across the board, but now
Poor clearly headed by Chambers. Morata has lifted it forward. Here's Hazard with a shot across goal, but Chambers recovered his position to block the shot by Hazard, which wasn't struck the most pure on his left side.
but quickly from end to end, but it's a poor header from Chambers, just heads it back down to Morata, puts it back over his head for Hazard to get onto. It doesn't strike his shot cleanly enough with his left foot.
Second corner here for Chelsea, no goals yet. Fabregas from the left-hand side, he's swinging a high ball. Big shout from Petr Cech of keepers, and he claimed it well, and looks to hit the volley pass downfield towards Sanchez. It comes off Conte, who was covering at the back, and that should be an Arsenal throw, I think. And it will be, I think.
The linesman wasn't sure himself, he was waiting for the referee to help him. Conte's on the side going, he knows the Chelsea he's going mad at the linesman. Well, it was always going to be an Arsenal throw, because Conte did try to control it and he went out of play.
The cheek of the Chelsea head coach there trying to demand that one. Mind you, both managers have been putting on the pressure onto officials in various ways in the recent days and weeks. As Arsenal play the diagonal out to this near side, we've had one or two mentions of that on the social media already tonight. We'll get to it shortly. Here's Arsenal possession on the near side. They're right, they're tanked the goal to our right. But Bellerin can't find Lacazette. Charlotte from Lagos says the ref should be very careful tonight. We've had enough to talk about their performances recently. We don't need more. Arsene Wenger extremely upset following a handball penalty given against his side in the match against West Bromwich Albion, which cost his side. But here comes Chelsea with Morata. It's 0-0, but Chelsea looking to try and fashion a chance here. Hazard corner of the box, cutting in on that right side. Chelsea not able to find a way through. Arsenal did have bodies in the centre there and wouldn't let Hazard get a shot in. Arsenal clear up to Lacazette, but he can't bring teammates into the play. Fabregas' touch towards Bakayoko, slid in on Maitland-Niles, but the Arsenal player did well, and here's Sanchez down the left-hand side. Sanchez in the Chelsea territory, cuts in field, finds Ozil. He's got Sanchez to his left now. Sanchez forced wide by Azpilicueta, and Moses is there too. There are four in the centre here for Arsenal. Maitland-Niles on the overlap. A low ball in, but Courtois can field the near post.
Yes, a good break from Arsenal there, getting up the pitch quickly. But we notice as well, the Chelsea players, all of them back into shape very quickly, making it hard for Arsenal to get stuck at the end of it. And then Maitland-Niles has an overlap and crosses and picked out by Courtois. But we're talking about the referees. I mean, we're talking about the players and the congestion of the Christmas period, but it's the same for the referees. I mean, they've got to get themselves mentally and physically ready.
A long ball over the top by Chelsea. Morata's gone all the way through his zone, and he's putting it wide. The clearest chance of the game so far by a mile. Morata clean through. The Arsenal defence at 6s and 7s and arguing amongst itself. And Morata missed the target by an unforgivable distance, and it remains 0-0.
I mean, it's just a long ball forward, and it's Morata starts in front of Mustafi, just pulls in between him and Chambers. And Chambers lets the ball go over his head, but Mustafi's actually covering the wrong side. So I'm actually expecting Peter Cech to be coming out as a more advanced starting position. But he's on his goal line, and Morata has a great chance. He's not even had to get a keep, he's just about 3 yards wide.
Dreadful finish, really, from a £70 million man. 0-0. Here's Ozil for Arsenal, looking to try and punish Chelsea for their profligacy in front of goal. But Chelsea trying to start a counter-attack here. Conte's got it up to Hazard. Hazard slips it to Bakayoko, joining in with Xhaka out of the game. Here is Alonso down the left-hand side, infield to Hazard. Mustafi recovering his position at the centre of the back three as Moses takes it on the right hand side, dummies the cross, then on the left foot, fires it in! Oh, Morata at the near post did make contact. It was well played by Victor Moses. Arsenal escape again.
He's actually cut inside on his left foot, Moses, and he's miscued the cross, really. I think he's got to put a bit of height on it. He's miscued it, it's gone straight across the ground. And Morata just coming in the near post, just inches away from getting a touch on it ahead of Peter Cech. But even so, we've only had that one clear attempt from Morata, but it's a pretty much open game, similar to how it was against Liverpool, but there was a bit more goal-to-goal action, but it's a very open start.
Do you think Morata should have made contact with Moses' ball there? I mean, he looked like the favourite to get there.
He did. I think it was a little bit, to me, being a bit too nice. I think it was one of those where he thought that if he did go in, he may go and hurt Peter Cech. He sort of was half-heartedly attempted, and he had the right to go in for it, but I think he just didn't want it enough.
Here's Ozil for Arsenal, 0-0. Maitland-Niles with a good overlapping run, and he's got into the penalty. He was tripped by Moses, and Anthony Taylor was right there, and he says no. Maitland-Niles came in across Moses, and there seemed to be contact. Still Arsenal go though. It's a lovely move. Sanchez in there. Both posts, on both posts, and claimed by Courtois, and you wouldn't believe it. Arsene Wenger's going potty about the penalty that wasn't, but how Sanchez did not score there is beyond belief. It's 0-0. The ball ran straight along the goal line. Having hit one post, it struck the other. It's still 0-0.
But the thing is, it's actually a good save from Courtois. That's the thing. Courtois got a good hand on it, which has pushed it onto the post, along the line to the other post and popped out. But just before that, Maitland-Niles has done well. Great little reverse pass exchange with Sanchez. And it's one of those ones where they always say they're coming together. Now, if that's outside the box, the referee gives that a free kick and he will go the hands across each other motion in terms of they picked each other that way. But there's no different from it being inside the box and outside the box, because that is still a free kick, which classes a penalty.
But you're right to emphasise, Courtois just got hands to that Sanchez shot and did enough, therefore, to keep it out, because a millimetre less and that was going to go in. So Courtois made a key intervention, as Conte has there for Chelsea, robbing Sanchez on the edge of the Chelsea penalty area. Xhaka got back at Conte, and then Sanchez went in. He's claiming he won the ball. He's left Moses down on the far side. The play goes on. Arsenal have it. Bellerin on the edge of the box, but his pass to Lacazette intercepted by Cahill. Now Chelsea aren't playing it out, even though their own teammate is down here in Moses. Fabregas is looking to his right, and that's where Moses would be, but he's still down. So there's no support that side, and they come back to the left for Alonso. It's still 0-0, but this game is brewing up very nicely. Morata with a poor touch on the near side, losing concentration, but wins it back. Azar has it now, left corner of the box. Bakayoko's in the centre, but he's the only one. Still Moses is not sure. He's up now and will get on the ball. Arsenal fans are booing him. He goes round the outside of Maitland-Niles and crosses, but straight into the arms of Petr Cech. Well, this is going to be one of those no time to get your breath back games.
Like we said, it's very open. We've had two clear-cut chances now. Very good save from Courtois, from Sanchez, and Morata's 1v1, which he should have scored. But I mean, it'd be interesting if we can get the highlights back, or the replay, just on the incident with Maitland-Niles and Victor Moses. Like I said, if that's anywhere outside the area, that's going to be a free kick.
He had no reason to go down, even. He had to be clipped.
He was clipped. He was definitely clipped.
It was both of our reactions in real time, that's for sure. But Anthony Taylor's positioning was perfect.
He was bang on it.
Could not have been better. Well, it's still 0-0. Moments of drama here at both ends. And good defending there by Gary Cahill, who's been prominent at the back for Chelsea. Forward to Morata, who missed Chelsea's clearest chance by a long way with a very poor finish. Ozil out the other end for Arsenal. Little 1-2 with Sanchez. They work together so well. But are they both going to be at Arsenal, well, frankly, in February, let alone the start of next season? Here's Sanchez again. Long sleeves and gloves over on the far side. Wide to Maitland-Niles. Checks back onto his right foot and a low ball into the centre for Xhaka outside the box. Forward to Wilshere, took it on the half turn, then clipped it wide, hoping Sanchez would pick it up, but Maitland-Niles did in a wider position. Now Sanchez gets it, drops the shoulder and wins the corner there off Azpilicueta. Some of the attacking play from Arsenal has been high quality. Here's this little trick by Moses on Maitland-Niles. Well, can I get another look at it now?
Oh, he clips his own heels. Well played, referee.
But does he? Here's the corner from Arsenal. It goes beyond holding towards Chambers, away by Bakayoko. Sometimes a player gets a little clip which causes them to clip their own ankles. You know what I mean? And that...
Because it's very clumsy if you're running and you actually clip your own heels. That's very... So I get what you're saying there. It has to be either a little nick for him to misplace his foot in, to him to then clip his own heels.
And it's more obvious looking at the replay that Maitland-Niles' own legs have come together. But is there a little...
Yes,
yeah, there is.
There is.
But it is in the natural running stride of Maitland-Niles that as his foot goes back, that it seems to catch.
It does catch, yeah, on that one there, you can see where it does catch Victor
Morata over the top towards Azar, but too much on the pass, and Czech's got it 0-0 to clear this up. Are we backtracking and saying that the ref was right?
No, because I've seen it.
I thought we were nearly at that point.
I thought we were, but I think you've swayed me a little bit in terms of the touch, obviously, from Moses, but what we're saying is if that is outside the area, the referee can give that, because there has to be a touch for Maitland-Niles to trip over his own feet, like you said, and on the replay it shows that.
Well, it's 0-0, and Arsenal have possession. I know that Arsene Wenger will think it was a penalty. We all know that. Here's Maitland-Niles over on the left-hand side, with Arsenal coming forward again, and they're putting plenty of pressure on the Chelsea goal at the moment, and really was so unlucky not to be in front in the immediate aftermath of that penalty decision. When Sanchez hit both posts, it was tremendously unfortunate. Here is Wilshere, wide to Bellerin, the high cross towards the back post and away by Moses, but straight to Xhaka, who can hit them. Saw that in the Liverpool game, but Conte got in the way, and it's away by Chelsea. It's coming back though. Here's Xhaka to his left, to Ozil, looking up for options. He's found Lacazette on the spin.
Good save.
Super save, Courtois. The big man got down low to his left and palmed it around the post.
And that's what Lacazette does well. When he's just at the edge of the box and he gets the ball into him, he's always that first touch, and his second one always looking to shoot, and he does well there. But it's a good save from Courtois, getting down to his left-hand side and parrying it away.
Lacazette's gone more than a month without a goal now for Arsenal. Ozil with the in-swing corner, away by Alvaro Morata. A cleanly struck clearance from the striker. If only we could have said the same about his finish about 10 minutes ago. 23rd minute here on Premier League Live. It's flying by, this game. Here's Bakayoko. Arsenal at the moment have got a back six. This is incredible. All in the line. Alonso to Morata. I'm not sure they know what they're doing. Alonso tries to drive forward. Away by Arsenal. Here's the midfield one. It's Sanchez. And joining him, Xhaka belatedly clips it across the field inaccurately. Ozil can't get back. It's a Chelsea throw-in. Why have they got a back six all in line there?
I think it's just one they've just all thought we need to get back as quick as we can, and there was no distances between what you see with Chelsea. Once they get back into their shape, they're in that 5 and the 2 and the 3. You can see the units. With that one on Arsenal, it was just a flat 6.
Just looked at the replay of Courtois. The shot from Sanchez comes quite early, sort of toe-poked, and Courtois reacts early, gets down low to his right, it's quite close to him, so it can be awkward, but he shoveled it onto the inside of the post. It rolls across the goal line, hits the other post. He gets up quickest and grabs it and celebrates like he scored the winner in the cup final. Here's Hazard for Chelsea at the other end. To Fabregas on the edge of the box, wide to the right to Moses, who seems to be okay. Moses, little drop of the shoulder. Maitland-Niles blocks the cross. Chelsea corner.
Like I said before, the game started about the 1v1 battles between these two, and it's been a good one so far. I think it's evenly matched. Moses looking to get forward, Maitland-Niles looking to get forward. It's a good little battle so far between those two.
Make that 2 good saves that Courtois has made today, and the Premier League official stats said he'd only made 40 saves all season before tonight. Chelsea corner is in towards Bakayoko and headed over the top, way over the top, under some pressure, which means on average he makes less than 2 saves a game. I mean, given that Chelsea concede so few goals, he doesn't have to make many saves, but he's already over his average.
And that's what I mentioned about the discipline in terms of the tactical shape of Chelsea, when they get their bodies back, making it hard for teams to create opening opportunities. And it's one thing we don't see a lot of, is shots from 20-25 yards.
Super run here from Bellerin down the right hand side for Arsenal. Got away from Marcus Alonso. A real pace difference between the two. Arsenal have switched it to the left. Here's Sanchez, corner of the box. It's still 0-0. It's been a super game actually. Lots of technical quality, just not quite the finishing touch. Some fine goalkeeping from Courtois. As
sloppy.
Arsenal give it away, and Morata gets it on the near side, crosses the halfway line, but his pass into Hazard was not the best. Forward to Lacazette, on the slide Christensen, good interception. Arsenal, of course, have bad memories of an away goalkeeper performing miracles against them when Manchester United came to town. David De Gea performed so well. I think Adrian Clark in commentary called it a joke. And you could understand what he was saying that day. But Courtois has started very well for Chelsea today as well. It's 0-0. Hi to Ray Waldron, who's listening from Boston. Says the Gunners need the 3 points. Dave's listening in New York City as Arsenal try to play it up to Ozil. It just misses the target from Wilshere. Tommy Jean is listening from Roswell in New Mexico. We've got listeners in Lagos in Nigeria as well. Oralessi says Arsenal might shock Chelsea tonight, and that was sent prior to the efforts from Sanchez and Lacazette, which forced Courtois into such excellent action. Keep your messages coming. I understand, Louis, haven't been able to get to too many so far. It's been so busy. Here's Fabregas. That's a super ball. Bakayoko's in there, and Cech palms it over the top. Cech called into action for the first time.
Yeah, good run from Bakayoko. Ball from Fabregas. He just gets in between Chambers and Maitland-Niles, but his left foot shot's always rising, an easy push over the bar for Peter Cech. But it's a good break from Bakayoko. He's been quite quiet in the game, but you can see sometimes in previous games he has that breaking from midfield in him to get attempts on a goal.
Fabregas with the in-swinging corner. It was a good one, and it was headed over by Cahill, but there was a shove, says the referee, by Cahill on Jack Wilshere, who went down. I was just wondering whether Chelsea were going to strike with another headed goal. They've been the masters from the air in the Premier League this season. May not have been Cahill who actually performed the shove in there, but anyway, the referee was right with his assessment, and it remains Arsenal 0, Chelsea 0. Chelsea have had 5 attempts, though, say the stats, and Arsenal 4, so there's been plenty of activity. Chambers passed there to Wilshere, had Wilshere going completely the wrong way. Here's Azar now. Chelsea might punish Arsenal. Azar
Great
shoots.
block.
The block was by Mustafi, but 2 went flying in. The other was Xhaka. Alonso collects for Chelsea and spreads it to the right-hand side. Moses into Bakayoko, but good challenge by Holding coming out from the centre, and Moses is offside. Right on the far flank, Victor Moses, but still flagged by the assistant.
He's a little bit selfish there from
Azar, perhaps, as Arsenal go forward. Referee has given an advantage. Lacazette seemed to be upended, but Arsenal still have the ball, albeit a long way from the Chelsea goal. So the ref says play on. And it's Sanchez who's got it. And he will just lay it back to Holding, and Arsenal will start again. 29th minute then, no goals. And the driven ball by Arsenal goes all the way through to Courtois. And he will take his time. And it feels like the stadium is just taking its breath after a very hectic period of, well, maybe as much as 15 minutes, actually, after that Morata chance when he was played in from nowhere with the Arsenal backline getting its wires totally crossed. But Arsenal's attacking football has been good, and here they come again with Ozil. He's got Sanchez to his left here. Sanchez on the right foot, looking to thread one for Wilshere, who was arriving late. But as Piliqueta got his body in the way, and then clears down the far touchline, albeit Maitland-Niles gets the better of Moses and gets an Arsenal throw-in over there.
Just seeing now Ozil's start of the game, I said he was sort of playing a little bit deeper alongside Xhaka and Wilshere, but now he's just getting a little bit more advanced of them now, so he's picking up the balls all the time just behind Kante and Bakayoko in that centre midfield area, and just getting them in behind them and getting balls through to Sanchez. So that's a little area there where I think Chelsea may have to look at, just to shuffle their pack just a little bit in terms of that transition period.
Ozil, as is frequently the case, proving difficult to pick up and track. He's now appearing on the left-hand side for Arsenal. Just nudges the ball forward to Sanchez, tries to get away from Azpilicueta, who does well to hold him up. And then N'Golo Kanté goes back to Courtois, just forcing the keeper to stretch to his left, but he collects it and launches it over the halfway line towards the tall figure of Morata. Chambers wins the header, but it goes straight to Azar. Azar away from Wilshere. Bellerin comes in with a supporting tackle. Wilshere's late on Fabregas, and here comes a yellow card for Wilshere. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those where Fabregas saw it coming in. And Wilshere, I mean, he's trying to make a genuine attempt for it, but it's just then catches Fabregas late and into the book.
First yellow card of what's been an absorbing contest, but after games have come thick and fast, then the tackles sometimes do get a little stretched and late. Here's Hazard down the left-hand side, tries to whip across him with his left foot, but slices it behind, and that's a goal kick to Arsenal. The two latest tackles perhaps were in the Palace-Man City game, but as Scott Dan and
Jason
Punchin both had a hack at Kevin De Bruyne, and both came off worse. And actually, neither man's going to play again this season. But De Bruyne, who was the target of both tackles,
was fit and ready to go yesterday, and instrumental again for
2 days later.
Manchester City.
It's remarkable, wasn't it? Especially that tackle from Punchin at the end.
Yeah.
He was absolutely clobbered.
And it's one of those things where we talk about retrospective action and things like that, but okay, the referee has seen it and yellow carded it, but it's a horrible challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no attempt for the ball. He catches him late, catches him high, and again, it's one of those where it just gets the inconsistency.
There's a pass up towards Lacazette for Arsenal. He's offside. I mean, you've got to protect the players first and foremost, haven't you?
But it's inconsistency which warrants a red, which warrants a yellow. Now, we know that referees can't see everything, but you've still got to see in terms of certain challenges are warranted more than the actual card which has been committed. So you sometimes see players that get red cards and they can get an extra game on top of that.
Here is Ozil for Arsenal to the left of centre. Oh, it's a lovely reverse ball, but Xhaka and Wilshere weren't sure who it was for. It could have been for either, but neither went for it, and it was for nobody. Oh, just a little bit of a lack of confidence maybe in the Arsenal team. Certainly maybe in the Arsenal team. A lack of intuition between the players at times. That was true of the defence early on. It was true of Xhaka and Wilshere there. Here's Sanchez lifting one in towards Lacazette too high and through to Courtois.
What I'm noticing with Arsenal, even tonight in the last few games, is they're always overloading one side. So if you can remember from the Henry and Perez days, Robert Perez and Ashley Cole, when they always used to sort of all go and hug that sort of left-sided area. You're seeing that now with Sanchez and Ozil. A lot of the work is...
back past Chelsea, and Lacazette nearly got in, couldn't control it on the stretch, and it's still Chelsea ball.
Yeah, you've seen a lot of their build-up play with Sanchez naturally being on that left-hand side, Ozil always going out there with Maitland-Niles joining. So there's a little bit of that I'm seeing now creeping into this Arsenal side of trying just to overload that one area of the pitch.
Fabregas with a driven ball. It's a beauty. It's just too far in front of Bakayoko. I mean, Fabregas is saying to Bakayoko, there was nothing wrong with that. And Bakayoko, running off the back of Holding, didn't know whether to go with his thigh or with his chest.
And the thing is, as well, it's that you've got to anticipate that it's going to go over Holding's head and drop to you. And he didn't anticipate that, and he was that fraction where it was like, oh, where do I control it? And it just runs through. But there's a great ball from Fabregas. But again, the run from Bakayoko, that's 2 times now, and he's done it once off the back of Chambers and that one off of Holding, where if it's not Holding, Maitland-Niles has got to stay up his run.
The expert comments of Jason Ewell here on Premier League Live. Jason, former Premier League player with Charlton, Wimbledon and Blackpool. Was that
Middlesbrough as well?
Middlesbrough too. I knew there'd be more. He missed out the Borough.
Wasn't too many of them in the Premier League, but I was in the Premier League at Borough as well.
Listen, you know, if you played in this league, then you've got to shout about it. There's so many millions of us out there who would have given our right arms for just a 30-second appearance here or there. Here's Ozil for Arsenal. Some of us would quite like to have played for the school team, but that's another matter. Here's Sanchez to the left of centre, driving hard at Chelsea. He's got Maitland-Niles overlapping, a pass back to Sanchez through the legs of the defender. Sanchez nearly tripped himself up, but finds Ozil. Ozil lifts it in towards Sanchez. Azpilicueta tracked him every step of the way and heads away for a throw-in on the near side.
Mr. Consistent there in Azpilicueta. He sees the run from Sanchez and he gets in that right area. He doesn't try and gamble and try and mark Sanchez on that occasion. He tests his flight of the ball and gets it clear.
Arsenal from the throw, near side, 0-0, 36th minute, and they've lost it with Bellerin. And Antonio Conte is saying to Eden Hazard, get going, we've got options here. And Hazard, with some nice footwork, moves across the field and finds Moses on the far side. Moses infield to Bakayoko. Arsenal have got 6 or 7 back here now. Hazard wide to Moses again. Moses with the cross, blocked by Maitland-Niles. Applause for the youngster again from the Arsenal fans, but Moses turns him and whips in the cross high, too high for Morata. Away by Bellerin. Conte coming in. Morata collects it, tries to tee up Bakayoko. He goes down under the challenge of Xhaka, who has fouled him. He just took the leg of Bakayoko before he reached through to get the ball. Arsenal are incensed, but the free kick is just, and I mean just, outside the edge of the box.
Yeah, he does come through the back of Bakayoko there. A little bit too hungry to try and win the ball. Yeah, he just goes through the back of him.
That's a foul,
It's a foul, yeah. It's like a body charge, but just from the back of him, and it's a silly tackle to give away so close to the area, and he can't argue back, even though he's still trying to argue and complain. But it's a silly tackle, and that's part of the thing where I mentioned before about the discipline. Not so much in the tackles, but also in the game as well. And Xhaka, you've seen it quite a lot over the course of the 18 months he's been there. He's very ill-disciplined at times.
The Arsenal fans listening will just be shaking their heads. We've heard it all before. 8 minutes to half-time. The free kick is in the D on the edge of the box. To the right of centre. The Wolves back a very generous 10 yards here. Marcus Alonso, and it's over the top from Alonso for Chelsea. Maybe a little too close to goal.
I was about to say the same thing. To try and get that up and down very quickly from 19 yards, as approximate that it was, he said it has to be a very well struck free kick to get up and down very quickly from that distance.
Did you think that was a generous 10 yards?
It was. Because talking, I've just said about 19 yards, they were sort of 2-3 yards from the penalty spot, so we're talking 12-13 yards that wall was.
Here's Wilshere going down, and the ref saying it was a foul but advantage. Ozil collects, tries it, it's just whistled wide from Mesut Ozil. He clipped it with such power, with such little backlift. Courtois flew through the air and it fizzed past the post.
Sometimes you just don't see that enough from Arsenal as well. Just getting shots off from 18-20 yards, because everything they like to do most of the time is trying to play their way into goal scoring opportunities from 5-6 yards out for tap-ins. But I mean, it's exciting. That's the good thing about it. So it's just letting Chelsea be aware of it.
Here comes Ozil again. He's into the box, left-hand side. The back heel to Sanchez. A terrific take on the spin, but Sanchez lost it to Fabregas, who tracked him. And then Fabregas gets the free kick for a foul by Sanchez. The players get up as if to confront one another and then end up having a lovely hug in the penalty area.
Yeah, you can see, you can tell he's just clipped in, and Fabregas' reaction is like, and then he realises it's Sanchez and he gives him a little cuddle.
Were they teammates at Barcelona?
They were, yeah.
Seem pretty good pals still. 5 minutes to half-time, a little more than that. 5 minutes and 30 seconds, it's 0-0. But boy, have there been some good chances and some terrific attacking football. Some of the Arsenal defending has not been great, but they've got away with it. Here's Xhaka from range. Block this time was by Azpilicueta, I think, flying at the ball and then dinked back in by Arsenal, but into the arms of Courtois, who's been one of the star players in the first half.
Even in that position there from Sanchez, where we've seen him a couple of seasons ago where he let fly from 25 yards against Liverpool, and he's in that same sort of position there, and he's tried to go for that sort of delicate ball over the top to pick out Lacazette and Bellerin, and it's sometimes, like you said, from those distances, pull the trigger, because you never know. We saw Xhaka the other week against Liverpool. Pulls the trigger, and the movement on the balls nowadays, it causes problems for goalkeepers.
Here's Ozil again, all towards Sanchez, well read by Christensen, who looked to be wrong-footed but just adjusted and collected it for Chelsea. And here they come on the counter. Azar here running at Chambers, central position, moves it to the right. Bakayoko to Moses. Still no goals. Moses down the line towards Azar, didn't give him much of the chance. He's done well to get a corner for Chelsea out of that.
Wasn't a great ball from Moses to him.
Short corner out to Fabregas. Azar is waiting for the ball to be returned to him. He's got it. Arsenal half asleep, but Xhaka at the near post collects it and is fouled by Bakayoko. An ironic cheers from the Arsenal brigade, who've obviously bought the Wenger narrative that the referees are all against them. and so Arsenal free kick does result. Ozil lifts the ball forward to Sanchez. Referees played a couple of advantages which would have been Arsenal free kicks in an attempt to help the flow of things from an Arsenal perspective, the flow of things from a neutral perspective, I suppose. So maybe they could have had more free kicks than they've had, but we know why the referee hasn't made those decisions. In the interests of entertainment.
I think also what's going to be a concern for Arsenal as well is it was another short corner taken very quickly, and that's the third time when they've been caught, and it's, for me, that's 3 times too many, because the next time is if they get caught short because they're not concentrating, it could lead to something in terms of a goal for Chelsea.
Spot on. And you see Hazard and Fabregas around the ball, and you think there's a cunning plan here.
Yeah, because they're always sharp and bright, and they're the times you can catch teams out when they're trying to get themselves organised and set for set pieces, where you just get the quickly taken and teams switch off.
Here's Jack Wilshere for Arsenal, just inside the Chelsea half, with 3 minutes from half-time. Forward it goes towards Sanchez. Fabregas slides in. He won the ball and then caught Wilshere afterwards. And Anthony Taylor's coming back in with a yellow card and saying, Fabregas, that one's for you. And Cesc Fabregas is shaking his hand in continental fashion as if to say, what on earth is that about? Disbelief in the gesture.
No, that's a great tackle from Fabregas. I mean, you can't sort of question the follow-through, because he's won the ball cleanly, and as he's won the ball and caught Wilshere as well, it's his momentum that's gone into Wilshere, but I don't know why Anthony Taylor's got his card out for that.
Is it reckless?
No, not at all. No, I mean, he's going along the ground, he's clearly won the ball.
Well, it was the follow-through that Anthony Taylor objected to. It had to have been. And he's evened up the card count. Fabregas and Wilshere, with tackles on one another, have got the yellow cards. 2 minutes to half-time.
I think maybe he's just trying to stop them two from trying to tackle each other again now by brandishing a yellow card to...
As Conte got one in on Sanchez, and it was clean according to the referee. Certainly got the ball, and Chelsea are countering again. Hazard, that's a good challenge by Chambers. He slid in and he got the ball, and he had to
make sure he got contact, because I think even when I saw him sort of thinking he's going, I'm thinking he's going to make that tackle. If he didn't, Hazard would have been through 1v1.
Alonso's throw down the line. Arsenal caught again. Here's Fabregas into the box. It'll be a Chelsea corner, 0-0. And Fabregas again, the quick thinking from the throw-in that time caught Arsenal out, and Fabregas was nearly dribbling into the penalty box before the challenge. Corner from the left-hand side, the 45th minute at the Emirates. 0-0 at the moment. Alonso's gone near post, just over him, and out by Xhaka, tall player, guarding the near post area for Arsenal. Clearing header was a strong one. Hazard on the ball now to Fabregas down the line. Infield to Alonso. He's got Hazard in close attendance, but 2 defenders as well. And it's Xhaka who plays it out. He wants the free kick, doesn't get one. Chelsea throw towards Fabregas. Lacazette was back there defending, did really well. And that's why Ozil hasn't got a runner down the middle in front of him. Kante gets back at... But makes the challenge, and here's Hazard dribbling into the penalty area, and the back heel superb, and Fabregas lifts it over the top. Another good Chelsea chance goes begging in this first half, and it remains goalless somehow.
And it all started from Kante, centre midfield. He tracks Ozil for 20-30 yards. Great sliding tackle, gets put through to Hazard, and he runs across the edge of the area from right to left, and he just stops the ball for Fabregas running behind him, and he just bends it over the bar. But you've seen Fabregas with better quality in that, nestled him in the back of the net, but great play from Hazard on that occasion.
Terrific vision and the technique, and defenders were flying all over the place and broadly in the wrong direction for Arsenal. Such was the wrong footing ability of Eden Hazard. 1 minute of added time signalled by the fourth official, who today is Craig Pawson, and we've played 45 seconds of that minute, and it feels like the first half is coming to a conclusion. But this is one of those 0-0 halves which has been tremendously exciting, and both teams will reflect really that they should have had goals. They haven't got any though, and that's down to poor finishing from Alvaro Morata and B, terrific goalkeeping from Thibaut Courtois at the other end, who denied Alexis Sanchez with a breathtaking save, and then the good fortune as the ball came off both posts. Arsenal 0, Chelsea 0 is the half-time score. More analysis from Jason Ewell on the way shortly. You are listening to Premier League Live.
Premier League football is a truly global game, and TalkSport is the global audio partner of the Barclays Premier League.
It's a massive goal!
With live commentary of all 380 matches this season, available at TalkSport.com in English, Spanish or Mandarin every weekend.
What a goal! What a fantastic strike!
The event horizon of world-class football. Visit TalkSport.com to find out more.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered.
Salah into the penalty area. Mo Salah gets it through. Firmino! 3-0. Counter-attacking football in spent. Roberto Firmino.
TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live.
Here's Aguero trying to find a way through. Sergio Aguero, as he does so well. Brilliant goal. Goal by Sergio Aguero.
Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
Ball comes in towards Willian, breaks back to Pedro. It's 3-0 to Chelsea, but it's all too easy.
Hear goals as they go in from around the grounds during our featured commentary match.
Calvert-Lewin gets it back from Rooney as well. Again, better from Everton. Crosses the middle. It's Lennon with the header this time. The keeper spills it, and Wayne Rooney turns it home.
Every game is covered.
Mesut Ozil wants it back. This would be a lovely goal. Mesut Ozil into Olivier Giroud. Arsenal have doubled their advantage. It's a simply superb goal from Arsenal. A beautiful collective move.
Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Here's the corner, swung in well on, and it's a goal! West Ham have equalised, and Cheku Kouyaté is celebrating. The equaliser for West Ham from the corner in the final minute of the first half.
This is Premier League Live.
Headed away that time by Stevens, and that's deflected and in. Ashley Young with a shot. It's off of Lewis Dunk, and it curls into the top corner. Ashley Young will take the credit for it, but it's a wicked deflection off of Lewis Dunk.
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league. Premier League Live, brought to you by TalkSport Live.
Go to TalkSport.com and sign up now to play the free TalkSport Predictor game. Predict the results of the English Premier League games this season for the chance to win top-flight weekly prizes. From the Gunners getting away goals at Anfield to epic finishes at the Etihad. Click TalkSport.com/predictor and register now for the chance to go top of the table in the Ultimate Football Fan Tournament. The TalkSport English Premier League Predictor game. Available online and for free at TalkSport.com/predictor.
Well, it's one of those half-time intervals where you just talk about nothing else but the first 45 minutes that you have witnessed. Arsenal 0, Chelsea 0 is the half-time score at the Emirates Stadium, and these are the best bits of what has been a terrific first half. A long ball over the top by Chelsea, and Morata's gone all the way through on his own, and he's put it wide. The clearest chance of the game so far by a mile. Morata clean through. The Arsenal defence at 6s and 7s and arguing amongst itself. And Morata missed the target by an unforgivable distance. Here's Ozil for Arsenal, 0-0. Maitland-Niles with a good overlapping run, and he's got into the penalty, shoots it, he was tripped by Moses, and Anthony Taylor was right there, and he says no. Maitland-Niles came in across Moses, and there seemed to be contact. Still Arsenal go though, it's a lovely move, Taylor in there, posts, on both posts, and played by Courtois, and you wouldn't believe it. Arsene Wenger's going potty about the penalty that wasn't, but how Sanchez did not score there is beyond belief. The letting that go. Here's Xhaka to his left, to Ozil, looking up for options. He's found Lacazette on the spin. Super save, Courtois. The big man got down low to his left and palmed it round the post. Wilshere going down. Let's say it was a foul but advantage. Ozil collects, tries it. Oh, it's just whistle wide from Mesut Ozil. He clipped it with such power, with such little backlift. Courtois flew through the air and it fizzed past the post. Yeah, it's been terrific stuff at the Emirates Stadium in the first half here on Premier League Live. Morata with a tremendous chance. I mean, that was just from a clearance, really, from Victor Moses. And Chambers, he's playing alongside Mustafi with Holding in an Arsenal back three. Chambers sort of stepped up with Mustafi going back, and Morata found himself completely clean through, but failed to hit the target and missed by a couple of yards. Then we had the penalty claim, the Sanchez effort when he was so unlucky, and Courtois did so well to make a save, which he did again from Lacazette, and then right at the end of the half as well, after that Ozil effort from long range, Fabregas over the top after good work from Hazard. Well, who's been the better team in the first half, Jason Newell?
I think it's been quite evenly matched, really. I know that Courtois had the sort of better saves to make or chances to sort of prevent, but I think it's been pretty open. Like I said, it started off like the Liverpool-Arsenal game a couple of weeks ago, probably just not with all the goal malfaction and everything like that, but it has been that way. So I think it's going to be, I think the way it's opening up, a little bit of quality is going to be the difference at the moment, but it's there for both teams to go and grab something from it. It doesn't look like either team's trying to settle for a draw like some people would expect in a game like this, but you're looking at, yes, both teams are actually trying to go and win the game.
They certainly are. It's testament to the quality of Arsenal's attacking play that a defence like Chelsea's, which is going for its fifth straight clean sheet, has been troubled so regularly.
It has, and it's been good openings as well. I mean, it's not as if there's been sort of individual errors, like how you mentioned there about the Chambers and the Mustafi one, the understanding of each other. They got
that was dreadful, wasn't it?
That was, but you don't get that in Chelsea's back line. It has to be that little bit of quality or great play or link-up play, what you see a lot from Ozil and Sanchez, which is going to unlock the Chelsea back line. But you just see the frailties in Arsenal's back line, where you can probably see that's where the opportunity for Chelsea is going to come.
Well, yes. As for Chelsea, though, and the chances they had, I mean, Morata, for a player of his quality, his undoubted pedigree, what he's achieved with Real Madrid and with Juventus, he started so well. There's something about him that he's missing something right at the moment, and he missed the goal quite evidently when he was clean through. You wouldn't expect a top striker to miss by that much.
And the thing is, it's like, it's one with the say about centre forwards or anyone that has those 1v1 opportunities, is you've got to make your mind up and make a decision up quickly of what you want to do, where you want to put the ball. It just seems like he had so much time, he was undecided of where he wanted to go and what he wanted to do with it. And as that's happening, you get people running back behind you, so you're hearing the stomping of the feet come in, and all of a sudden it's like, I've got to get my shot off. But you'd expect a lot better from him in that position there, for someone of his calibre, not even so much the price tag, someone who's a goal scorer. You'd expect him to do a whole lot better than what he did.
That's the job, isn't it? To stay cool when you hear those elephant prints coming behind you. You gotta keep a fresh mind. Difficult, but Morata did not take that chance. Indeed, nobody's taken a chance in the first half, though chances there certainly have been for both teams. A little reflection on last night, because there were 4 big games in the Premier League yesterday evening, and they were big matches at both ends of the Premier League table. One that you may not have seen a huge amount of reaction to was Crystal Palace's victory at Southampton, a last-minute winner from Luka Milivojevic. And Roy Hodgson, the Palace boss, has his team up in 14th place now. This was his reaction afterwards.
I think for us, all wins are satisfying. You know, we've been at the bottom for so long, looking up, and having people virtually right off our chances. We've had to claw our way back in, some late goals, winners and equalisers, and unfortunate points that we've let slip that we could have had. So really it was crying out tonight, after such a good performance at the weekend, to hold Man City as we did. to get 3 points and then to look at this, wonderful Christmas and January period. But I'm really very, very proud and very not surprised, but full of praise, certainly, for the way the players went about it today.
Remember, they lost their first 8 league games of the season without scoring a goal. And there were those at the time, Jason Newell, who said Palace are down already. It's impossible for them to get the number of points required to stay up. And yet here they are with 22 points from 22 games, a couple of points clear of the bottom 3.
And it goes in, you always see in terms of sort of packages, don't you? So first 4 games of the season were right off, so you're sort of starting from afresh. And then I think it's a big thing that Sam Allardyce does, where he blocks his games off, where he goes, right, these next 5-6 games, these are our sort of anticipated points margin. And if you can keep up that average over the course of the season, you're giving yourself a chance. And I think it's something that now that Roy Hodgson's doing with Crystal Palace in terms of the organisation. You're seeing the difference in that. And the longer you can be organised and disciplined and stay in games of football, you give yourself opportunities to win.
And we'll reflect much more on last night's games and look ahead to tomorrow night's game between Spurs and West Ham at the conclusion of Arsenal-Chelsea. We are on air until 10 o'clock local time tonight. When we come back then, second half, it's 0-0. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Premier League football is a truly global game, and TalkSport is the global audio partner of the Barclays Premier League.
It's a massive goal!
With live commentary of all 380 matches this season, available at TalkSport.com in English, Spanish or Mandarin every weekend.
What a goal! What a fantastic strike!
The event horizon of world-class football. Visit TalkSport.com to find out more.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered.
Salah into the penalty area. Mo Salah gets it through. Firmino! 3-0. Counter-attacking football in defence. Roberto Firmino.
TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live.
Here's Aguero trying to find a way through. Sergio Aguero. He does so well. Brilliant goal. Marvellous goal by Sergio Aguero.
Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
Ball comes in towards Willian, breaks back to Pedro. It's 3-0 to Chelsea, but it's all too easy.
Hear goals as they go in from around the grounds during our featured commentary match.
Calvert-Lewin gets it back from Rooney as well. Again, better from Everton. Crosses the middle, it's Lennon with it, and this time the keeper spills it. And Wayne Rooney turns it home.
Every game is covered.
Mezzodozo wants it back to be a lovely goal. Mezzodozo into Olivier Giroud. Arsenal have doubled their advantage. It's a simply superb goal from Arsenal. A beautiful collective move.
Get involved in debates, ask in-game questions to our commentary team, and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Here's the corner, swung in well on, and it's a goal! West Ham have equalised, and Cheku Kouyaté is celebrating. The equaliser for West Ham from the corner in the final minute of the first half.
This is Premier League Live.
Headed away that time by Stevens, and that's deflected and in. Ashley Young with a shot. It's off of Lewis Dunk, and it curls into the top corner. Ashley Young will take the credit for it, but it's a wicked deflection off of Lewis Dunk.
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league. Premier League Live, brought to you by TalkSport Live.
Go to TalkSport.com and sign up now to play the free TalkSport Predictor game. Predict the results of the English Premier League games this season for the chance to win top-flight weekly prizes. From the Gunners getting away goals at Anfield to epic finishes at the Etihad. Click TalkSport.com/predictor and register now for the chance to go top of the table in the Ultimate Football Fan Tournament. The TalkSport English Premier League Predictor game. Available online and for free at TalkSport.com/predictor.
Welcome back to TalkSport's coverage of Arsenal against Chelsea from the Emirates Stadium. I'm your host, Richard Connolly, and alongside me, the former Charlton, Wimbledon, Middlesbrough and Blackpool striker, Jason Newell. You are listening to Premier League Live. The half-time score is 0-0, but it has been a terrific game so far. The Arsenal players just emerging from the tunnel at the Emirates. They had big chances in the first half. Sanchez hit both posts with the same shot, and actually it was a terrific move after they'd won the ball back in the aftermath of the penalty claims. What might have been a clip on Maitland-Niles. But Sanchez and Ozil worked a couple of sharp 1-2s in the box, and Courtois managed to deflect the shot onto the inside of the post. It ran across the goal line, hit the other post, and came back out, and Courtois grabbed it. He also saved well from Lacazette. Morata missed a big chance for Chelsea when he was clean through on goal. Fabregas and Bakayoko could not score from decent, presentable chances themselves. Here comes the whistle then from Anthony Taylor at the start of the second half. We are underway with Chelsea all in blue, apart from the white numbers and names and trim, and Arsenal in the shirts with the famous red body and the white sleeves and the white shorts and socks with the red tops. Arsenal playing from right to left in this second half as we look down. Chelsea attacking the goal to our right, and they're on the ball at the start of the second period with the tall figure of Bakayoko and the shorter figure of Eden Hazard on this near side in front of their manager, who's in the right hand of the two dugouts in a dark padded overcoat, Antonio Conte. It's pretty chilly in the south of England at the moment. Arsenal 0, Chelsea 0. Arsenal checking goal, holding Mustafi and Chambers at the back as Moses is flagged offside on the Chelsea right. Bellerin's on the right-hand side for Arsenal. Maitland-Niles is the left wing-back for Arsenal. Xhaka and Wilshere, who's been booked in the centre of midfield. Ozil, Sanchez and Lacazette. Arsenal subs, by the way, Ospina in goal, Mertesacker, Walcott, Iwobi, Welbeck, Coquelin and El Neni. So they still have some serious injury concerns. Kolasinac and Koscielny are missing tonight. Christensen's back pass to Cahill, not of the best order. Cahill's under a bit of pressure here in the left back spot. Conte's got in to help out and does very neatly for Chelsea to work it forward. And then Alonso with a dummy that Bellerin buys. And here's the counter-attack. Alonso to Hazard. Arsenal on the retreat here. Hazard starting to dribble at pace to the edge of the penalty box. Alonso's out wide. Bakayoko's in the middle, but the low cross from Alonso wasn't really the order of the day. And Arsenal clear and an exceptional Chelsea counter-attack in the end came to nothing.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, loads of composure in on it from playing out from the back in a tight situation. Dispossessed Fabregas.
Wilshere's got it.
He's going to get away from him.
Yeah, tried to find Ozil on this near side, but he didn't let it skid underneath his studs, and Moses came in for Chelsea. Chelsea's team then, Courtois in goal, Azpilicueta, Christensen back tonight, and Cahill, Moses, Conte, Bakayoko, Alonso, Fabregas, Hazard and Morata. Hazard, who was rested in the previous game, which they still won 5-0 against Stoke, who rested one or two themselves that day, probably to the eventual detriment of Mark Hughes, although they have had big injury troubles. Stoke, they're one of those teams who are now in the bottom three. Stoke City, 20 points, and the pressure on their manager. Here the pressure's on for points at the top of the table, and it's 0-0 at the moment, as it was earlier in the season. Holding has taken out Morata there. Morata spinning him near halfway, which is what might have saved Holding from a yellow card. Morata's sitting down on the turf and making the case to the referee that the opponent should be booked.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a clumsy foul, nothing malicious. I mean, it's one of those ones where every foul that happens in games like this, or most games now, there's always the appeal for yellow cards, and I think he's just trying to get that balance right of, you know, what does and what doesn't, and I mean, that certainly didn't.
At TalkSport Live, by the way, if you want to have your say on Twitter tonight, always good to hear from you. And if we do get time in a helter-skelter first half, we had little, we will say hello and mention you and your particular place of residence. Chijioke in Lagos in the first half did send us a nice message saying that the excitement in the commentary was of seismic proportions. Earthquakes in the commentary box. As Fabregas plays Hazard in, and Hazard's got a shooting chance here.
Good save.
Czech does really well with the feet to save. It's back in.
Good save again.
And another good save to deny Marcus Alonso. The cross came in from the right, Alonso headed back across goal, and Cech alert to the danger twice. Here's a corner, and the third time he wasn't required as Bakayoko drove just over the corner of post and bar. But Chelsea coming close there on 3 separate occasions.
But again, it's looking at the Frauties we're talking about. When that ball comes into the midfield area for Morata, he lets it run across his body. Chambers starts going with the play where there's no need, which opens the gap for Fabregas to put Hazard through for the 1v1. I thought he should have done better. It was a good save from Cech in the end, but then the sort of second phase straight away, cross from Bakayoko, and Alonso heading back down to where the ball's come from, and a good stretch and palm away from Peter Cech for a corner. But then straight from that corner, another short one and quick one again from Chelsea, which led to Bakayoko shooting over the bar.
Arsenal spreading play effectively now. Here's Maitland-Niles on the left-hand side into the penalty box. A good cross, and Sanchez couldn't quite reach it. Backpedaling at the far post. Just a little too much height on it for him. But Maitland-Niles again impressing for Arsenal.
Yeah, if that's that type of cross there, if you see a Giroud on the far post, he's nodding that into the goal, or he's nodding that back into face goal. But Sanchez just a couple of inches too short and couldn't get up and try and direct his header. But well played from Maitland-Niles, just jinking, sidestepping Moses there at the right wing back position, getting the cross in.
And Conte prepared to take it under pressure from the Chelsea goalkeeper as they play out from the back.
Great little touch.
And a lovely little flick from Hazard to release Conte now. And he's driving into the Arsenal half. Wide to Moses down the right-hand side. Moses' cross is deflected and into the gloves of Petr Cech, with Bakayoko closing in, and now it's Arsenal's turn to play out from the back, and they've done very neatly to get into the Chelsea half. Both teams wanting to play the right way here in entertaining, attractive style. Wilshere forward. Here's Ozil in the central position. Up to Lacazette. What a turn! Courtois makes the save. He took it on the spin. Sensational football to go from back to front, but the goalkeeper comes out on top again.
Just as it fell from him, you can see his idea where he's trying to take a corner quickly.
Sanchez whips it in, it's out by Morata, who's back defending only as far as Xhaka. His pass hits the ref. Arsene Wenger won't like that. And it's cleared to Hazard. Hazard has to check back, but he's got support from Fabregas. Fabregas was taken late by Holding. The referees played the advantage because the pass has come to Alonso. Wide to Morata, 2 in the centre. Morata goes to the byline, dinks it in. Here's Hazard, mishits the volley. Alonso went in strongly, too strongly. Arsenal free kick. The ref's going back to give Holding the yellow card. It remains 0-0.
But just going from Lacazette's chance, you can see his idea where the ball's played from Sanchez, and he's just tried to just pirouette and take the ball with his left foot. He miscontrols it, actually hits Cahill and falls back into his path. And then you just think, you go and take your touch and shoot, but he takes an extra one, closes the gap, and it's a good save from Courtois, but it's a great opportunity. And then at the other end, Chelsea counter, and Rob Holding ended up getting his booking. But great little play there, but you just think, go on, take it with your right foot. He lets it come across to his left, and the space is denied.
What we're seeing tonight is 2 number 9s who are short of confidence
and need a goal, even if it's just something that just hits them anywhere, gets a tap in from 1 yard. It's just something just to get them back going again.
Lacazette's last 5 starts, he's had a sub appearance in there as well, have been goalless. He's gone more than a month without scoring, but he's been played in here again. He's got a tight angle, tries to pull it back, and Chelsea will clear. Didn't see fit to pull the trigger early there, Lacazette. Morata, having scored 6 in 6 at the start of the season, now has 4 in his last 13, including tonight. So you can see the numbers aren't what they were for both men, who both started well, having made their moves in the off-season.
But even just there from Lacazette, he's on a tight angle, but he's been played through, and he's looking to try and cross it. There's nobody's in there from Arsenal to support. I think sometimes that's where you just got to be a bit more selfish and just take the shot.
Lacazette trying to tee up Wilshere, who goes down under the challenge of Christensen. Ref says nothing doing. Christensen is angry about the way Wilshere went down. There seemed to be contact, but I wouldn't mind betting Wilshere initiated it. Anyway, the ref gave no free kick, but he's not penalising Wilshere.
No, he's not. I mean, he's trying to argue his cause there, Wilshere, and it's one of those ones. It is like a 50-50 where they've both gone into it, and Wilshere's just got a touch just ahead of Christensen. I think, and yes, there is that contact, but probably just not deemed enough for it to be a free kick. And I think probably the position of where it is as well probably sort of swayed Anthony Taylor not to give it.
Arsenal's pass down the right towards Bella. He's not quite quick enough to bring that in, and that's because the stretching Alonso got an extra touch and helped it behind. Here's the incident again where Wilshere goes down, and Christensen seemed to pull out of the challenge. Well, did he pull out in time?
No, as I said, it can still warrant.
Corner comes in. Chambers looked to get on in at the near post and couldn't. Conte clears Arsenal throw in.
It can still warrant a free kick there, because even with Wilshere getting the first touch of the ball, still momentum from Christensen there where they've actually made the contact.
I still feel Wilshere leaves his leg out there and doesn't have to, but anyway, it probably just underlines the extreme difficulty of being a referee in that situation. Chelsea change. Zappacosta on. Was that Moses who went off?
It was,
Jason?
yes.
Jason Ewell, our expert analyst tonight, former Premier League forward and latterly midfield player, right?
Oh, yes, yes.
You got nudged back a la Rooney in your later days?
No, it was literally mix and matches both during the career.
Here's Maitland-Niles for Xhaka down the left-hand side. Xhaka's irritated. He thinks he should have had a corner there, but the ref says it came back off Azpilicueta, then off Xhaka again, and out for a goal kick to Chelsea. Well, we're still seeing the replays of the Wilshere and Christensen incident, which suggests to me that even the TV pundits are uncertain as to which way it should have gone, or maybe they are concluding that Anthony Taylor should have given Arsenal a free kick on the edge of the box. Anyway, your opinion was free kick in the end, wasn't it?
Oh, it's a bad tackle.
Mustafi.
That's a bad one.
Bringing
now,
down
Hazard. That's a booking.
He's missed him with one foot and then scissored him
from
with
behind.
Yeah.
That is a booking, that tackle.
Yeah. And
not even a talking to. That's the concerns as well sometimes.
Conte's going to strike it from the free kick. He ran forward with it and then hit it. It was blocked. Spins away to Alonso. A spinning ball in an awkward one. And Cech going backwards did well to help that away. And out of the danger zone. Here's Zappacosta for the first time on the near side. It's still 0-0 if you are just tuning in. Welcome along to an excellent game between Arsenal and Chelsea, where there have not been goals yet, but there has been a lot of goal-mouth incidents. Chelsea's attack breaks down this time, and it will be an Arsenal throw-in. But there's been incident, there has been chances, there have been excellent saves from both goalkeepers, and there have been misses from strikers who are lacking in confidence. Who is going to get the first goal? Because surely goals there will be tonight. I say that, it was 0-0 earlier in the season at Stamford Bridge. There's been not much between these two. Community Shield, FA Cup final, very close games. But it's been terrifically entertaining, all of those things. Here's Chambers in possession over on the far side for Arsenal. They're right. Bellerin collects the ball and pops it back to Mustafi. I was looking for a tweet on my little console here. Comes from Kalali Jesse, who says, what a game, even the sloppiness is interesting.
Yeah.
Which kind of sums up just how exciting it has been. Never a dull moment really at the Emirates so far. At TalkSport Live, you want to say hello, let us know where you're listening in the world, and we'll give a shout to you and your broadcast partner. Here's Arsenal ball. This time they're taking their time about it. Chelsea aren't pressing out on them too heavily. So here's Ozil over on the right hand side, gets it back from Bellerin. Bellerin into the box here, and it nearly fell for him. The last ricochet, and it spun away and out for a corner to Arsenal on the far side.
Good little link up play between Ozil and Bellerina, just as he returns, gets the pass back from Ozil inside the box. You just think his touch is going to get him through.
Corner is swung in. Courtois thought about coming and then didn't, as Piliqueta gets ahead on the ball and Chelsea boots it clear. Zappacosta's gone herring for a return pass if Hazard can get it to him, but Maitland-Niles won it back for Arsenal. Here's Lacazette, wide to Sanchez, left side of the penalty box. He'll take a corner off Azpilicueta, and Arsenal are cranking up the pressure now.
You can just see something probably happening soon. Because they mentioned about the sloppiness. I mean, there's been a lot of turnovers in this game, which is surprising between the two teams.
Corner taken quickly by Arsenal, but not particularly well. Away by Fabregas. Sanchez with a diagonal ball into the box. Mustafi nods it on. It almost came for Ozil. It was away by Azpilicueta again. Here's Sanchez once more. Curling cross at the far post. There's freedom here for Mustafi. A tight angle, but the whistle goes. The ref's seen a foul, I think, by Chambers as the ball belatedly went into the net, but long after the whistle had gone. Did you see a foul in there?
It was. From the cross came in from Ozil. There was Mustafi. He's blocking, well, he's actually holding Alonso round the neck. He goes to ground easy, but I think if he just stands his ground, the block would just, he can't get around from the man at the far post and have a free attempt.
Yeah, Chambers knew that Mustafi was in such space behind him.
If he just sort of stood his ground, didn't really need to get involved and commit the foul on Alonso.
Well, the referee penalised him for what in basketball would have been, I guess, an illegal screen or something like that. And it was a foul for Chelsea, and they've cleared their line. So we've got half an hour of this absorbing contest still to go. Tell your friends the best may be ahead of us yet here on Premier League Live. Goalless between Arsenal and Chelsea. Here's Bellerin down the right. That's a good-looking ball, but out comes Courtois. Sanchez gives his teammate the thumbs up for the thought, although again the run of Sanchez was being marshalled by two Chelsea defenders. Particularly tight was Azpilicueta, who's had an excellent game for Chelsea again. Bakayoko misplaces a pass on the halfway line. Arsenal ball. Wilshere floats it forward for Lacazette. Good challenge. Cahill breaks for Ozil. He's looking for the 1-2. He's got it. He's in. He squares it.
Shoot.
And off the line by Cahill. Ozil elected not to go himself. Here's Maitland-Niles turning his man. Left-hand side tries to cross. Arsenal corner, still 0-0. They wanted to walk it in.
And that's what was said before during the first half commentary. This time, a great link-up play again. Ozil and Lacazette, similar to the goal against Liverpool. And this time he chooses to square it rather than shoot. Same position as he was against Liverpool.
Courtois did well to block the angle of Ozil and nudge his mind in the direction of squaring it rather than shooting for goal. Ozil finding Ozil, holding now, comes to Wilshere, who scores for Arsenal. He's drilled it into the near post, and Jack Wilshere is back on the score sheet for Arsenal in the Premier League against their London rivals. Wild celebrations at the Emirates. It's Arsenal 1, Chelsea 0.
Just as I was saying a couple of minutes ago, you can see a goal coming because both teams were just starting to open up. A little bit of sloppiness was coming, and even from there it was Chelsea that were caught cold on this occasion. Concentration's gone from the pass out to Ozil, and even when he comes inside he plays it told it, and he just runs off the back of Morata, off the back of Kante, and he gets a little deflection to get it into his path. But what he does is just a great left foot shot. I mean, it's one of those ones, he flies at the near post, but it's just because of the power, just is enough on it just to fly past Courtois. I think that's the goal we needed to open up the game now.
It was Rob Holding who drilled the pass through towards Wilshere. As Jason says, there was a nick on it which helped tee it up neatly for the young Englishman, but that is his first goal in the Premier League since May 2015. 2.5 years plus for Jack Wilshere. A long time in the waiting, and that contributed to the emotion of its scoring. And they want a second. Arsenal red hot. Sanchez into the box. Now Lacazette. Can he find an angle? Oh. And it's Courtois who makes an excellent save. As the shot deflected, the Belgian reacted and helped it round the near post.
I mean, Ozil's put Sanchez in, and And it wasn't a great pass back to Lacazette. He wanted to try and take it first time, but he had to take the touch, another touch to shift it. It's the deflection of Azpilicueta diving in, and another good save there from Courtois. But you can just see the energy rising now, and Arsenal looking to try and get this second goal. But they've got to be careful that they don't get sucker punched the other end.
Well, it's only 1-0, but I've run out of space on my notepad. It's one of those games. 25 minutes still left. Ozil with a corner for Arsenal from the right-hand side. This is awkward for Chelsea. Lacazette brought it down at the near post, then prodded it back wide to Sanchez. Sanchez trying to go through the legs of Conte, who just about resisted. Sanchez driving still, but ends up, does really well to hurdle the advertisement hoardings, having run out of space with the ball out of play for a Chelsea goal kick. We're getting another look at the replay. Yeah, the deflection on the pass did help Wilshere, but the celebration was a tremendous release for Jack Wilshere. Yes, he had the spell on loan at Bournemouth last season, but he's been desperate to fight his way back from serious long-term injury into the Arsenal first team for so long, and to get that goal meant everything. Yes, he scored in the Europa League this season, but that is quite evidently not the same. And that was a huge goal in the life of Jack Wilshere.
Yeah, and I think sometimes as well it's somebody else's injury or lack of form that allows the opportunity to open up.
Here's Hazard at the other end for Chelsea. He's just dribbling into the edge of the Arsenal box. He goes one way, then the other. He's still going. He tries to cross. It blocks. He falls down. Penalty.
No!
The referee's given a penalty. Hazard got just clipped in the penalty area, and the referee was right there. He went swiftly to the floor. Arsenal don't like it. Arsene Wenger, who says there have been too many penalties against Arsenal, will now bemoan another. Hazard collected the ball after the initial cross, and then Bellerin reached a leg out to reach for the bouncing ball. There may have been the slightest contact on the foot,
but it's a genuine attempt. The ball's bouncing. It's a genuine attempt for both of them to go for the ball. But it's the way Hazard falls. He's got kicked at the bottom of his foot, but he's dived forwards. His body's gone to ground first when he's been kicked at the bottom of his foot, both of them trying to make an attempt for the ball.
It's Hazard for Chelsea from the penalty spot, and he scores right down the middle. The equaliser for Chelsea, and Arsenal have been damaged by a penalty against them for the second game running. Wenger prowls the touchline while the blue side celebrates. It's Arsenal 1, Chelsea 1.
I mean, there's a case for Arsene Wenger as well again, because you look, like I said, they're both going for the bouncing ball. With Hazard's foot raised, Bellerin kicks the bottom of his foot, but it's the way that he falls. He's fell forward, and that's the thing. How that has made him fall forward to get the penalty. It doesn't make sense. It's like you can see it's a genuine attempt for the ball, but
I think Bellerin does arrive slightly later than Hazard, and there is a little bit of contact. But here's Morata going forward. It's a poor pass forward by Morata. 1-1, the ball's out of play for an Arsenal goal kick. So to conclude on this, there was a little contact. Can we agree on that?
I will say there's a little bit. He's kicked the bottom of his foot. That's contact, but it's not a tackle. He's tried to literally kick the ball. He's kicked the ball with his foot.
And then he's held the ankle, which he did not strike.
Exactly. He's kicked the bottom of his foot. But it's the way that he's fell, which is the one for me, which I'll say that is conning a referee, the way that he has fell there.
And yet, it kind of is a penalty.
But it's given as a penalty, but we've seen in the last few weeks, the Yasso, we've seen Lansbury.
There's a long ball through. Bakayoko's running onto this, and Maitland-Niles did really well to tidy up for Arsenal, who have all of a sudden got a bit hesitant now. And that was a long ball where the Arsenal defence did not deal with it, and Maitland-Niles had to step in at the last moment. And now Arsenal's forwards have to try and get them moving in the right direction again. It's 1-1, and the attack breaks down, and now it's Hazard countering for Chelsea, but his pass is picked off by Mustafi. And it's Arsenal ball again, 1-1. God, I want to get to the bottom of this, but it's It's still happening so quickly in front of us. Sanchez looking for a 1-2, gets it back from Lacazette, nearly gets through. Christensen, though, with a good interception, and Zappacosta will dribble it away for Chelsea down the near side. Hasn't got to the halfway line yet. It's 1-1, and things have exploded into life. Fine tackle by Fabregas, and the ball through for Morata. Now is he quicker than Chambers? He is. He's away here. Morata with a chance, and wide again from Morata, who'd been strong enough to shrug the defender off. And with Cech not necessarily coming out at the right angle, it seemed there was a big gap for Morata, but he couldn't find it.
Again, it's the extra touch that he's taken to get away from Chambers, and he's made himself go away from goal. And at the last minute, he's trying to dink it and lift it over Peter Cech where he didn't need to, and he's put it over the bar. And Conte drops to his knees at the pitch, banging the ground. Can't believe it's another missed opportunity for Morata.
If that's Harry Kane running through on goal, I mean, we're all 100% confident at the moment that he's going to score it. But Morata at the moment, not so. Cesc Fabregas is coming off here. What's the reception like for him?
It's a very good one. It's a very good one.
He's been applauded taking corners from time to time.
Yeah, he has, that's
Fabregas,
right.
although you kind of sense there are one or two who aren't so sure, but in the majority, certainly, he's being very well received. We're looking at a replay of the penalty decision again now. He barely had a chance to catch breath.
It's the fall.
It's the fall.
No, as I was going on about Niassa, he got his penalty, but he got a ban. Lanzini, another one. And that's just as worse. It's just as bad, sorry. It's the fall doesn't... You know what they say about the crime and the punishment? the crime of, yes, you're getting your foot kicked, but you don't fall in that natural manner.
Well, there are 19 minutes to go. It's 1-1. So... let's forget for a moment the way he fell. Was getting his foot kicked in that manner a foul?
No.
It wasn't a foul?
No, I'm saying that's not a foul.
Okay. So Jason Yule's view is no penalty, but it went in Arsenal's favour, in Chelsea's favour rather, against Arsenal, and it's 1-1. There are 18 and a half minutes to go. Drinkwater is the player who's come on for Fabregas for Chelsea, who've made 2 changes, and Arsenal have not yet made any. At the end of this busy period of games, you would think it would be a likely one for substitutions to take place. But here's N'Golo Conte for Chelsea, still full of life. Plays it wide to Zappacosta, squared back to Bakayoko. Now Conte hits it. Oh, spinning ball deflected, and it nearly spun beyond Petr Cech, but just wide. And Conte thought for a minute that was going to drop beautifully for him inside the post, but not so. Well, Chelsea corner results. Hazard's being applauded by the Chelsea fans in that corner of the Emirates. Hazard to take the corner, it's a poor one. Maitland-Niles at the near post, heads away. Hazard takes the throw in quickly, gets it back from Alonso. Looks up for options, wide on the left, lays it back to N'Golo Conte. His diagonal ball is a good one to Zappacosta, drills it across, nobody in blue was there. Clearance was a poor one. Here's Marcos Alonso on the edge of the box, but holding, and then Lacazette get to him, and Lacazette makes a couple of challenges. Both of them could have been fouls. The second one was penalised. Chelsea free kick, maybe 30 yards out. What do you think? Free kick?
And the thing is, what Anthony Taylor's doing, he's giving himself time. That's a free kick, and what he's doing well is instead of the penalty where he reacted quite quick on it, every other little foul that's happened, he's waited and waited just to sort of see what happens, which is good refereeing. But I think on the decision with the penalty, I'm not pleased on that one.
Ozil's got a yellow card. Chelsea take the free kick in there. Came off an Arsenal head, then almost dropped for Gary Cahill. Will shoot away, the Arsenal goal scorer. And he clears up to the halfway line. It's Chelsea's turn to come on strong here. Since they got the equaliser, they've been the better team. Arsenal's level has dipped. Chelsea, sensing that their opponents had weakened at the knees given the penalty decision, have looked to try and press home the advantage. It remains 1-1. And Arsene Wenger, who if you might recall, start of 2017, got a 4-match touchline ban for shoving Anthony Taylor when Taylor was the 4th official in a game at Burnley. And you would imagine that the two are going to have harsh words again at the end of the game, given that Wenger has been charged by the FA
from his
comments after the West Brom game. So he's in line, Wenger, given that he's had previous within a 12-month period for a pretty lengthy ban. He's going to have to be very careful at the end here, because we all know what he's thinking right now.
The other one we've got to look out for is Peter Cech then as well, to see if he gets angry again.
Well, here's Bellerin in possession with 15 minutes to go. Arsenal now are in Chelsea territory, wide on the far side. It's back into the centre. Here's Xhaka now to Maitland-Niles on the near side, the left. Outside the box, into Sanchez, back to Maitland-Niles. Holds off one, but Conte's there with a second challenge, as he so often is. Then Hazard loses out. Bellerin slides in to win it back for Arsenal. And we're inside the last quarter of an hour on Premier League Live. What a thrilling game this has been at the Emirates. If all the derbies in 2018 are going to be as good as this, we'll have great fun. Pass into Lacazette, he couldn't take it inside the penalty area. The clearance up to Morata's a good one. Hazard takes it on the run, gets it away from Chambers, who responds well. Then Hazard flicks it back out to Morata, who's taking on Mustafi, left of centre. Morata does well. The ball across is intercepted by Cech, with Hazard waiting for a tap in if it had snuck through. Still 1-1.
No, it's good play, good link up between Hazard and Morata. We've seen it a lot this season, the way they link up on the halfway line. This time Morata gets put through by Hazard, gets to the byline and just gets picked away from Peter Cech at the near post.
Which way is this game going to turn? It doesn't feel like either side is settling at the moment. They most certainly are not. 1-1's the score. We've got two teams playing for the victory here at the end of a busy period. It's good to see. There's Hazard appeals for another foul, but having won the penalty, he wasn't going to get that one. And Arsenal bring it out through the competent Maitland-Niles. He's very calm in possession. He's a midfield player playing up left wing back, and his ball skills is the fore today. Bellerin showing his pace now to try and keep a ball in play, but he can't slide a second time, and it's a goal kick to Chelsea away to our left-hand side. So, time to say a quick few hellos. Adeleke in Ibadan in Nigeria's loving the game. A knee in Accra, Ghana. Can't predict what's going to happen next. Trevor in Montana, listening through Sirius XMFC in the United States. Always loves listening to the game while at work. We're getting Trevor through the day. And many, many more. At Talk Sport Live is the Twitter handle. Let us know where you're listening in the world. Moses in Lagos via Lagos Talks, great to hear you're with us too. As Arsenal restart play on the halfway line with 13 minutes to go, it's 1-1. Then Maitland-Niles is pulled through ball, and it's back with Courtois in the goal away to our left-hand side. Danny Welbeck is getting stripped for Arsenal, as if he might be the first man to come off the bench for them today. We'll see that shortly. Chelsea ball with Alonso down the far side from Morata running into the channel. Out goes Mustafi to close him down. Morata feints to cross, then tries to beat him on the inside. Went down looking for the free kick, didn't get it. Referee was right there. Again, didn't give anything. And it's Arsenal who counter. Ozil trying to tow it away to Sanchez, but maybe Zappacosta just got a foot to that. And as Piliqueta strides out from the back for Chelsea. Now Bakayoko asking Zappacosta to do donkey work down the right-hand side, but Maitland-Niles had that covered. Then Wilshere was fouled by Bakayoko. Arsenal free kick in the left-back position. It's 1-1. There are less than 12 minutes left.
But looking at, going back from the substitution that Chelsea made, Fabregas for Drinkwater, now he's just sat in the midfield, so now Chelsea have gone with a three-man midfield, Bakayoko, Drinkwater and Kante. So you could see in terms of what Conte set out is a little bit more defensive-minded by putting that extra body in there, but it's just allowing them that little bit of security, but also gives them the opportunity to go and get that next goal as well. So you'll probably see Chelsea just waiting now for Arsenal to go for the win. but then get caught out and can get done the counter-attack, similar to now.
Yeah, they've won it well here, Chelsea, just inside the Arsenal half, and then as Morata tried to find Alonso, and Mustafi stepped in, and he rode the challenge of Drinkwater well, which was robust, and the pass down the line for Lacazette, and Lacazette's been penalised for nudging into the defender, and he immediately complained to the assistant referee. I think that's Lee Betts on that side, and he was quite aggressive, Lacazette, just overboiling, but there'll be no repercussions for him. Indeed, he's being withdrawn here immediately with just over 10 minutes to go. Danny Welbeck is going to come on for Arsenal. What do you make of the change, and what have you made of Lacazette today?
I think he's done well. I mean, he's had the service. I think he would like to have had a little bit more opportunities of being able to run in beyond and getting beyond and behind the back three of Chelsea, but everything's always been in front of the Chelsea back line. It's only the few balls that have been over the top for other runners, but you can see, I mean, he's not as less in, I'm not saying confidence. Yes, he needs a goal, but you can still see him trying to create those opportunities and do the right things. He's not missing from games, because then that would be that severe lack of confidence if you didn't see him in the game, but he's still causing problems, which is always a positive.
A couple of good chances tonight for Lacazette, but no goals for more than a month, and he was certainly thinking of that when he came off, shaking his head. It's been a while, and he needs one, as Jason Newell's been saying in commentary. 1-1 between Arsenal and Chelsea. Wilshere with a goal for the Gunners, equalised by the Hazard penalty. There's over 9 minutes to go here. Here's Mesut Ozil for Arsenal. Now Xhaka on this near side. Wide it goes to Maitland-Niles, up against Zappacosta. A couple of little feints by Maitland-Niles, back onto his right foot. A high crossfield ball, easy for Marcus Alonso. The header clear, and it came up towards Morata, who's been penalised for nudging the defender off the ball before it arrived. And he doesn't like it. He's been moaning for much of the game. He's not a striker in confidence himself. Here's Ozil for Arsenal, wide on the far side, Bellerin. Back to Ozil again. Chelsea defending in numbers. Ozil puts a foot on the ball, moves it back to Bellerin. Little stop and go, and the cross just too high for Welbeck, and away by Zappacosta. Now Wilshere nudged off it by Bakayoko, but it will be an Arsenal throw on this near side. 8.5 minutes to go. Now the Chelsea change, the last of their three, and Willian's going to come on, and Hazard is being replaced. And you can hear what the Arsenal fans think about him today. They're accusing him of going over to win a penalty. And indeed, Jason Newell has said that the contact on Hazard, which was made, didn't seem to compute with the direction of the fall. Anyway, the referee thought it was a pen, gave it, and Hazard scored it, and it's 1-1. And it was Hazard's first goal since early November. The other penalty that he scored against Newcastle, you might recall. Well, is either side going to be brave enough to try and find the winning chance and try and take the 3 points here? Or are both sides going to perhaps lose a little more ground in the race for the top four? I mean, I guess you would feel at the moment, given the way both sides have played, that a draw would be a fair outcome. But it seems like a game of this drama deserves a more exciting conclusion. Zappacosta collects on the right-hand side, feints away from Maitland-Niles, does really well, and crosses for Marcus Alonso to score for Chelsea. A 6th Premier League goal of the season for Alonso. And didn't Zappacosta do well? He fired it across low, and the left-back playing centre-forward drove it home, and Chelsea, from a goal down, have turned it around. It's Arsenal 1, Chelsea 2.
Yeah, it's been hard done by Maitland-Niles. He's done really well in the games, defended well, but this time just gets done a little bit too easy from Zappacosta. But then it's just who's marking. This is your left wing back, like you said, in the centre forward position, getting across the near post, across Mustafi. Look, no one can actually see him coming. They're all facing the wrong way, the Arsenal defenders, and he comes in the blind side and nicks it in front. Look, all three of centre-backs. Can't see Alonso's run, and it's a great finish as well. That's the type of finish we want Morata to be there. 5-6 yards out tap-ins.
He's a left-sided player, Marcus Alonso, but running across from the left towards the right. It was with the right instep that he finished. Across the goalkeeper to give Chelsea the advantage. And this could be a huge win for Antonio Conte's men, having been behind in the game. And at the moment, Jack Wilshere scored for Arsenal, the 63rd minute. Arsenal were getting on top. 21 minutes later, they are behind. Zappacosta coming off the bench down the right-hand side. A little bit of extra dynamism. And Maitland-Niles, you can see on his face as the camera hones in, he is upset to have been beaten in that position. And Zappacosta, having done that, created the goal for Marcus Alonso, whose excellent season continues for Chelsea. Can Arsenal fight back? Here's Granit Xhaka. Wide it goes to Ozil on the right-hand side. Bellerin's up on the overlap, but Ozil cuts back in field and finds Maitland-Niles coming forward now. Plenty forward. He finds Welbeck coming away from goal. Welbeck will lay it back to Chambers. The diagonal ball to Maitland-Niles. First time to Ozil. His cross to the back post. Welbeck was arriving. Cahill did well to clear. Bellerin arriving. The shot deflected away by Azpilicueta. Ozil will collect outside the box, and he can't find a red and white shirt. And Morata trying to bring it away from goal, goes down again, gets up frustrated that he hasn't got the free kick, then tried to trip Ozil, didn't get his man, and Chelsea have the ball back. But the clearance ricochets away for Arsenal, and they'll have it back inside their own half. There are 4 minutes left here. Arsenal seemingly frustrated, Morata seemingly frustrated. But the excellence of the game continues.
I'm looking at it now. Since they conceded the goal on the 81st minute, they know they need a win, and he's still got your attacking options of Theo Walcott still sitting on the bench, Alex Iwobi still sitting on the bench. This is where now Wenger's got to be looking at taking off one of his defenders, preferably one of the central defenders, and going to get something from the game, because the longer that he's left it, and they come away with no points, they're further and further away from a top 4 finish. So he should have acted already. As soon as that goal went in, you should have seen an Iwobi or a Walcott getting ready to come on the pitch.
Forward it goes by Arsenal down the right-hand side, and Welbeck got onto that, and his low ball in was well blocked by Christensen and out for a corner. But Chelsea, for one of the first times, they were completely caught out at the back, and Welbeck got in down the right.
It's a poor cross as well from Danny Welbeck. Loads to say, we go, there's the change.
Walcott belatedly is coming on with 3 minutes to go. Theo Walcott, who started a whole bunch of times in the Premier League last season, scoring 10 goals, but this is only his 5th Premier League appearance. All of them have come from the bench in this campaign. He's on with 3 minutes to go. Walcott trying to make an impact from the corner here, which is swung in, and it's a big punch from Courtois. And Willian and Conte trying to get onto it, but Bellerin did well. In comes the Arsenal crossing towards Welbeck. Christensen's clearance, it was thumped goalwards by Mustafi, and thumped really hard, well blocked by Chelsea. 2 minutes to go. Ozil's diagonal towards Walcott. Alonso did well to get his head on that. Conte then slipped on the ball, but away by Alonso again. Arsenal are pushing for the equaliser. 2 minutes to go. Wilshere wide, it goes to the far side for Xhaka. Xhaka's ball down the line. Walcott had stopped running, and Cahill sees it out for a Chelsea goal kick in the 89th minute now. Well,
it's a good strike from Shane.
Mustafi hit it.
Good strike.
Was Cahill who blocked it. We're just checking to see if there's any question of handball, but his arms are in a natural position.
Yeah, and he's turned away and he's hit him on his arm, but there's no claim for a penny on that occasion. But let's just going back to Wenger's tactic there. Why it took him so long to get an extra attacker on the pitch? You can see that you're losing 2-1. You need these points. I mean, a point is still keeping you in the hunt. but at least if you can go and get an extra attacker on or two, it just shows intent as well. It shows the fans that, okay, we're 2-1 down, we've got 9 minutes plus stoppages to try and get something from it, and you wait until the 86th minute to try and bring an extra attacker on. It hasn't been good management since the second goal, well, the goal for Chelsea to go in the lead for Wenger to act.
Thibaut Courtois has been booked for Chelsea for time wasting with a minute to go. And just to confirm that Walcott came on for Callum Chambers, so it's a defender sacrificed by Arsenal, and Theo Walcott caught offside on the far side of the field as Arsenal played over the top, and that left Arsene Wenger extremely frustrated. Theo Walcott's been talked about with a loan move to his old club Southampton in January, with Everton and Watford reported to be sniffing around as well. Walcott's contract expires at the end of next season. Arsene Wenger's mood looks sour, to say the least, on the touchline. 15 seconds of normal time to go, and the ball's in the Arsenal half. They've got a throw in the right back position. Bellerin takes, and Rob Holding has it. It's a back four now for Arsenal, with Chambers having been sacrificed. 4 minutes of added on time, says the fourth official. That's 4 minutes from Craig Pawson. And Arsenal being put under pressure as they try and pass out from the back here. And Holding has slipped, and he's got a free kick. Well, I can't agree with that. He fell over there.
He slips, yeah. Took the risk and trying to dribble out and get ahead of Morata, and he slips, and Anthony Taylor's gives the free kick.
Lucky Arsenal that time, but maybe in the biggest call of all, they didn't have good fortune when Hazard got the penalty. Here is Bellerin inside the Chelsea half. It is one that will be debated long and hard, though. Here's Walcott with a low ball in. This might come to Sanchez. He turns, blocked by Zappacosta. He could have passed. Wilshere floats it in towards Walcott. Couldn't get above Alonso in the air. That wasn't happening. And Willian has it for Chelsea by the corner flag, with a minute of the four already having expired. A risky pass by Willian, and Conte couldn't hold on. And here come Arsenal again. Wilshere's got one goal. He passes to Maitland-Niles on the edge of the box. Zappacosta working hard to keep him at bay for Chelsea. Did well. Here's Ozil. Wide to Granit Xhaka. There are four in the centre. Bellerin's onside. His ball across was too high for Sanchez. He whistled it across with too much pace and height when a low ball would have sufficed. Ozil on the right hand side. Arsenal really are pushing. Chelsea are deep, defending really deep. Here's Mustafi's cross. Welbeck Rose is in there! It's a goal! Arsenal have equalised, and Hector Bellerin put it in for Arsenal. The headed clearance fell well, and Hector Bellerin on the half volley with the instep drove it in for his first Premier League goal of the season, and Arsenal in the 92nd minute have equalised. It's Arsenal 2, Chelsea 2.
That's a great finish by Hector Bellerin. It's just come out to the edge of the box on a half volley right foot, and it's just curling away from Courtois on a half volley, but it's a great finish. That's something where you want to see a centre forward or your technical centre midfielders type of finish. Morata's in.
Morata at the other end, immediately for Chelsea. A poor finish. It comes out to Zappacosta, who's hit the crossbar. Goodness me, immediately from the kickoff, Chelsea were clean through on the Arsenal goal. And Zappacosta's hit the bar. Here's N'Golo Kanté trying to tee up Drinkwater, but he couldn't do so. And maybe Arsenal might counter now. They might. The 93rd minute, and Welbeck dribbles forward. He's found Granit Xhaka. Sanchez is waiting for the pass, and Xhaka's pass to Welbeck was dreadful, and it's out for a goal kick. And Morata found himself completely clean through from Azpilicueta's pass. I mean, it's a dreadful attempt from Morata again. Zappacosta nearly scored from the rebound.
I mean, you've got Holding and Mustafi, the two centre-halves now, and it's the same way that Morata got it in the first half. It's a simple ball over the top. But as he's going through, and Peter Cech's just at a standstill on his 6-yard line, and you think, just lift it over him, but he's gone for the full volley, straight at Peter Cech, and Zappacosta's coming on the rebound and smashed it against the bar, so Arsenal were lucky there.
This is Premier League Live. There are still seconds remaining here. It's 2-2. But something else could easily happen in this crazy game. And it's Arsenal who have the ball with Sanchez on the halfway line, and he's trying to run Azpilicueta, who's got his arm across him. Sanchez keeps hold and looks for the crossfield pass, and there were two red shirts in the centre, and then in trying to win it back, he's clobbered Drinkwater's knee, and the whistle goes, and the game is over. Yes, it's only January the 3rd, but it's the game of 2018 so far. The players on both sides collapsed to the grass in exhaustion after a pulsating contest in which Arsenal led, then trailed, and then equalised right at the end. Much more reaction to come here on Premier League Live. It has finished. Arsenal 2, Chelsea 2, and you are listening to Premier League Live.
Premier League football is a truly global game, and TalkSport is the global audio partner of the Barclays Premier League.
It's a massive goal!
With live commentary of all 380 matches this season, available at TalkSport.com in English, Spanish or Mandarin every weekend.
What a goal! What a fantastic strike!
The event horizon of world-class football. Visit TalkSport.com to find out more.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered.
Gets away from another, comes it into the top corner. It is a moment of Merseyside magic from Mo Salah. He's done it again, his 19th of the season.
TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live.
With the in the penalty area, dips one. Oh, that is a magnificent goal from Jermaine Defoe. Absolutely stunning from Jermaine Defoe.
Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
Lanzini back to Arnautovic. He's inside the box. There is his first goal for West Ham. Arnautovic took it beautifully. He curled it low past Courtois.
Hear goals as they go in from around the grounds during our featured commentary match.
Rolls it into the feet. Little layup. Arfield, can you get past back? 1-0. Arfield opens the scoring in the 45th minute. Burnley's strike against the 10th man of Watford.
Every game is covered.
Boy lifts it in left-footed. It's a deep cross. It's headed on by Meunier, and it's 2 for Meunier. Well, like London buses, the goals are now pouring in for Steve Meunier.
Get involved in debates, ask in-game questions to our commentary team, and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Here's Gale. Good shot, goal! Dwight Gale's put Newcastle level. Crisp low shot from the edge of the penalty area. Low pass, Schmeichel in a flag.
This is Premier League Live.
Crosses to Olivier Giroud. Equaliser for Arsenal, and as so often, Olivier Giroud off the bench to rescue Arsene Wenger.
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league. Premier League Live, brought to you by TalkSport Live.
The TalkSport £1 million predictor game involves the two things in life you love the most.
Football and money.
Exactly predict 10 or more Premier League scores and win £1 million sterling.
The TalkSport £1 million predictor game.
Register now at TalkSport.com/predictor and play for free throughout the season. Win £1 million sterling.
£1 million.
Players must be 18 or over. See TalkSport.com/predictor for full conditions.
Well, what a game at the Emirates. It's finished. Arsenal 2, Chelsea 2 on Premier League Live. We have a few minutes now. We're on air for the next 20 to discuss exactly what has happened here. But why don't we remind ourselves of the best moments of what was a terrific game before we start that conversation and get your views into us about what you've seen and heard at TalkSport Live on Twitter. Here are the highlights. A long ball over the top by Chelsea, and Morata's gone all the way through on his own, and he's put it wide. The clearest chance.